Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Peyton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, May 26th. And as we alluded to on our last show, Mizzou has its second commit in the class of 2026. Keenan Harris, four-star linebacker out of St. Louis. So Mizzou gets a nice in-state addition to their class of 2026. He's ranked as the number 3 player in Missouri, the number 183rd player overall, and the number 17 linebacker in the class of 2026. Kenny, I will kick it to you first. I know you've written a bunch of stuff about this commitment, about his relationships with the coaching staff, his kind of journey to becoming a pledge for Mizzou. But just kind of give your overview here with Keenan Harris, and I'm sure we'll cross over some things we mentioned in the last show as well. But what do the people need to know about Keenan Harris, and how did Mizzou win this battle here over some pretty good schools? I know Oklahoma was in there, Iowa was up there for him as well. Walk us through Harris's commitment to Mizzou here.
Yeah, those spots on the Rivals 250, I think that people really like those. So I'm going to correct you there, Jack. It's 182.
Oh, my bad. Did he go? He went up already.
Yeah, don't take away that one spot he had in the class of 2026. That's always so fluid too. It changes, I think, twice a month now. It's like every 2 Mondays. So that number can fluctuate. Second commitment would have been 4. There weren't 2 decommitments last week. Both of the 2 commitments for Missouri right now are Rivals 250 guys. Gavin Sidwar being the 4-star quarterback. He was a 3-star like when Mizzou offered him, and he jumped in the Rivals 250 here recently. I even brought it up to him, and he was like, at this point in recruitment and just where we are, just as prospective college athletes, they just don't care. He was just like, we always think we're better than we are, and we have a more of an idea of where we think we should be ranked, so we don't try to focus on it. So I think that was a good take just from him on how he kind of looks at it, especially for a guy that might bounce out and in, just because he is in that 200 spot. With Keenan, though, he was offered by Bush Hamden in the November of his freshman year, 2022. I found some old tweets of myself saying man, I feel old. Class of 2026 wide receiver and safety Keenan Harris was visiting Mizzou. He got offered during that visit in November. His mom wasn't there on that one, but I did talk to her a good amount, and she said she's never missed a game, and she was so heartbroken that she missed that one. She said Keenan nearly had tears coming out of his eyes when the first offer came in 3 years ago. And big thing is he saw so much staff turnover. I went to talk to him in March. He didn't sound in the highest spirits. He's got a guy, DJ Smith, was 2 months removed, leaving for Appalachian State, and that wasn't a school all respect to both parties, that Keenan Harris was probably going to go to. He had Oregon looking at him. There was bigger schools jumping in the picture. Florida State was another one that recently offered him in the past couple months. He had opportunities. Then I went to see him in May, and he sounded like a different person. I wrote about this. The way he just sounded about Derek Nicholson, and everyone has raved about him this offseason, the linebackers coach coming over from Miami. Everyone loves this guy, how personal he is, the energy. It just seems like a home run hire for Drinkwitz and the rest of that crew that brought in Derek Nicholson. He opened up a lot of avenues to Georgia and Florida and the Carolinas for recruiting, but you still stick with the guy in state. It's still a big thing. To get a guy from SLUH, the last one you got. Peyton, can you guess who that is? The last SLUH one. I think I told you.
Oh, the last. I think you did tell me, and I already don't remember.
He's not even playing football anymore. It's unfortunate. He medically retired this past year.
Was it Thompson?
It was Isaac Thompson, who was a big time get in his freshman year. He was on special teams. I think he got sick at one point, so that kind of threw a wrench in what he was doing. But just injuries kept compiling for him. But yeah, everyone talks about the St. Louis guys not coming to Mizzou. Their name that kind of came up recently was Titan Davis. He didn't put Mizzou in his top 4 coming out of DeSmet. So this is a big get, just kind of keeping a guy close to home. And he's very highly ranked. He's always been a 4-star, near the top on Rivals at that linebacker spot. But like we talked about Peyton, the hybrid safety, if he can play in that star role, just with how he kind of matches with Dalen Carnell's size, very similar in that regard. It's a good, building block. I did have like some just quick quotes and things I just wanted to throw out there as well. I did talk to Gavin Sidwell like earlier in the week, as we knew this commitment was coming, and he said he's looking forward to catching up with him in June at OT7 finals. He's a great player and look forward to being his teammate and building this class. They'll both be on campus too for that June 20 to June 22nd official visit weekend. So they'll get to see each other then, and hopefully they'll get to catch up too, just with each other, meet each other, OT7 finals. He seemed very excited. He told me he was already following him on social medias everywhere, just trying to, get to know the guy, because like I said before, I think I said this in the last show, he didn't know Anthony Kennedy. He didn't know DeMonte Timms, and can't knock on any of those guys from being different parts of the country and really not knowing each other. But it seems like a good step in the right direction just for Mizzou all around. Last one here before I throw it over back to you, Jack, or Peyton, whoever wants to take it. I put this out there just on the board before he committed, just like, it's just a little fun note. But he wants to major in broadcast journalism.
I was going to bring this up. Yeah, I saw this.
That's a really fun one. I will toot my own horn. It got Dave Matter to follow me, so that was kind of funny. He never followed me when I was on the football beat. He interacted with me a couple times, but never followed me. But he followed me because of that tweet. And that's just some of the kind of fun notes just that I was kind of holding on to before he announced his commitment.
We need Keenan Harris holding down a KCOU Sports Saturday before hitting the field in his broadcast journalism role. Maybe he hosts a show. He becomes a KCOU alum as a Missouri football player. I saw that too, Kenny. That does rock. I love when kids aspire to do that at the college level along with play football. I saw you tweeted. He picked a good school to do that, obviously. So Keenan, I don't know why you'd be watching this, but if you are and you need some broadcast mentorship, you got three alums right here. Happy to
you have two.
I
can't partake in that.
Sorry, Kenny can't assist in that. Me and Peyton will help you. Peyton, I know you might repeat some stuff you said on the last show about this, but I know in this age, and I want to ask Kenny about this too in terms of the timeline of Mizzou's recruiting class, but I know in the age where, it feels like high school recruiting is a little bit less important than ever. It still seems good to me to land, like Kenny was talking about, some in-state guy, especially a high ender. How do you feel about Harris, committing and just, Drinkwitz and the staff kind of keeping some momentum? Maybe Derek Nicholson as well. I feel like this is a good kind of standard to set for him, if you will, off the field before he takes his first season on it.
I mean, Kenny kind of covered most of it there, I'd say. I mean, yes, high school recruiting does matter, probably less than it ever has, but I'd still wager that you really want to get a lot of pretty strong guys in there just for depth. I mean, even if you are bringing in 15 guys and only 7 wind up sticking around, those are still 7 guys that hopefully produce a couple starters and a couple really solid depth options, if nothing else. So, and I mean, you're only going to maximize that getting guys like that are ranked kind of highly, like Keenan Harris is. Like Kenny said, smaller linebacker. I think that's kind of a good mold to focus on. I think you live with maybe a missed tackle here or there if you get way better pass coverage out of your linebacker group. That's kind of the way I've always thought of it. But, we'll see what happens. Like we said, high school recruiting is just a mixed bag at this point. I mean, half of the guys that we were really excited about last year wound up transferring after their freshman year. So I don't know if Keenan Harris is going to be that type of player. He's from St. Louis and everything. It seems like he really is like a true commit to the school type of guy, but you never know anymore. But I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to be happy that Mizzou got a recruiting win like this. Guy with the top 5 like that certainly had options, and he chose to stay in state. I think it's a big win for Derek Nicholson to kind of keep him reeled in, because Kenny mentioned there, TJ Smith was his guy. So Derek Nicholson had to go in, reestablish that relationship. I can't talk. And win him back over. And he did that. So pretty good get. Would wager to say that this is one that I think we'll be pretty happy about in a few years.
Yeah, I don't want to overemphasize or underemphasize it enough. I think this is a nice win for Derek Nicholson. Like, this makes me feel good about his stat, because DJ Smith, I feel like Kenny, when we've talked when he was still around, had done a lot of good on the recruiting trail, and so to have to, like Peyton said, rebuild those relationships. Excuse me, if you're Derek Nicholson, reestablish some of those pipelines. I think this is a good step in the right direction for that from a broader perspective. And yeah, I think from an on-field standpoint, it's hard to say. I don't want to, we do enough. I love to grind the tape, but it's a kid who's still got his senior year upcoming. We'll see how he kind of molds, and with those positions being a lot more hybridized now at the linebacker position, we'll see kind of where he ultimately sticks. But I like this get for Mizzou. So Kenny, I'll ask you this. You mentioned you talked with him. Harris, of course, like I said at the top, the second commit after Gavin Sidwar. For you in this 2026 class for Mizzou, you've got 2 commits now. Like you mentioned, it could have still been 4. You have a couple of decommitments as a result of a coaching change. It happens. But with 2 commits now, you head into the summer. I know we're getting right into that thick of OV visits. That's going to start here in the next week and then go through June. Do you expect Mizzou to have a pretty busy summer? And do you like where they stand right now in terms of their number of commits? Because I know what we've seen generally is it sort of has been pushed back, right? You have more and more guys committing during the summer or even during their senior seasons and then just trying to stick it out. Do you like where Mizzou stands? And maybe if you have any names who could be next on this pipeline on the 2026 recruiting trail here?
Yeah, one big thing that Peyton and I talked about, just like even off air this morning, was you look at, who you miss out on. Do you want to go to that next option, that third option? Like, do you really want to keep going further and further down the line if you're missing on these guys? Like, Sam Greer was a massive offensive tackle target. I mean, it always felt like Mizzou was on the outside looking in for Jackson Cantwell, and Sam Greer was the guy they wanted, 4-star from Ohio. He went to Ohio State. Like, it's not going to be easy to pull him away. They still are trying to stay in contact with him, trying to stay, in the picture. But when you get an Ohio kid that's committed to Ohio State with his talent, it's just impossible sometimes to pull him away. So you keep looking down the line. There are other guys like Evan Goodwin at that offensive tackle position, another in-stater. Sorry, I'm looking at my list, but Bennett Frazier was from the north side of the state. Those are guys who you probably look at for the offensive tackle spot. But if you miss on one of them or two, I don't think you just go after, another 3-star that pops up. There's someone that's a late bloomer that's really showing up in their recruitment or, down the line. That's when you kind of turn to the transfer portal. You kind of realize that, I'm not going to go in and take a guy just because we need to take a guy. You go and find the option that's better for you in the transfer portal. It's like the same thing can be said about basketball. If you keep missing on the guard targets, go out there and get someone experienced. And don't go in and just get someone that's, you see a little bit down the line of development and skill set from the ones that you've missed on. So that can be, very applicable to just football as well. And right now, it seems like the June 6th to 8th window, which is the second official visit weekend, is pretty thin just on players, but that's a big one because Evan Goodwin's in that one. Isaac Jensen, who's a 3-star tight end who Mizzou feels awesome about right now. It's someone that they're really liking. And then one more name I'll throw out there from that June 6th window is Maxwell Warner. Kind of newer football. I wrote about him recently. Something that could play a part in this is Dennis Gates. So Maxwell Warner goes to Whitney Young in Chicago, and the Whitney Young football coach got, in contact. He was talking to Dennis Gates recently at a gala for the school, and they exchanged contact information, invited Coach Dan Finger, who's the head coach at Whitney Young, down to kind of shadow his team. But at the same time, he's trying to get him in contact just to meet Maxwell. It's a big deal. There's Whitney Young is a very, prestigious high school. There's a lot of famous alumni just around the country, and that's something that they want to kind of knock out. Maybe it's just some other names out there that I think Mizzou feels really good about that they have opportunities to land is a guy like Jabari Brady, who's been on Mizzou's list for a while. He's kind of really slid in the rankings over time, just in the 250. At one point, I think he was at some point probably top 50, and now he's no longer ranked, but he's still a 4-star wide receiver, Florida guy. We know Jacob Peeler still likes those, even with some of the decommitments he's seen in years past. Nick Hankins, who's also in that May 30th window. He's a cornerback from Belleville, so not very far away from the team. And Mizzou sent a lot of guys to see him recently, so I think they feel good about it. Like Brian Early, Jacob Peeler, Coach Al Poe, who's the main recruiter, Coach Looper, running backs coach, all went to see him. So that's another one. June 20th to 22nd is the third and final one. Jordan Campbell is a big name for that weekend. Listed as an edge defender, but he's a linebacker. That is a Miami commit. He committed to Coach Nicholson when he was still with the Hurricanes. That's a big one. Khalif Canty is going to be one that everyone has a circle around because he had some buzz around even committing to Mizzou at some point this offseason. So that's a name people are going to want to know. But that weekend also holds guys like Keenan Harris and Gavin Sidwar. Those are going to be guys that are pushing for some of these other uncommitted players. Hey, come play with us at the same time. And one more just name for that weekend is Kevin Sullivan, another tight end that Mizzou is pretty high on.
So there you go. Plenty of names to watch going forward for Mizzou, and obviously go follow Kenny, because Kenny, if you really want to get in the weeds with it, Kenny will have those. And I just think it's interesting where it's gonna kind of go. And like you said, how teams not only reapproach that thought of, do I go to my third, fourth guy and just take a swing on somebody, or do I just let it happen in the portal? I'm curious to see where the numbers will change. We talk about it with basketball all the time, where it goes from maybe 4 to 5 guys in a class to 2 in some cases, depending on who you have coming back. I wonder if it'll really cut down for football. I know it's kind of that 30-ish range. Some schools go a little more, some go a little less. I wonder if that starts to go down. That's more of a broad kind of thing in the future. But
17 guys last year.
Right.
I would say something in that 15-20 window makes the most sense, just with how much they like to see what they can swing on in the transfer portal, because they did really well in the transfer portal last year. It's just one of those things, you don't want to keep going down the line. If you're missing on a linebacker or missing on a wide receiver, don't go after some guys and circle back on them if you really think there is maybe a better option for you at the college ranks already.
Yeah, exactly. And we have saw them get burned by a couple high recruits who just ended up transferring anyway. So it's an investment in resources. Anyway, that's the broader recruits versus transfer portal discussion we could have. But there is the latest on Keenan Harris, Mizzou's newest commit in the class of 2026. Kenny's got some good features too about him on Mizzou today. So check those out. His kind of relationship with his mom, stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Keenan Harris, second commit in 2026 for Mizzou. I know we kind of repeated some stuff in the last show, but wanted to obviously harp on it when it was officially official, as they say. And we will go forward with quick hits. We will officially finish this show. Okay, quick hits time. We'll finish out the show. We have Ken's sports shorts to start. Kenny, how many questions you look up before we did this, or before we're going to do this?
I didn't, and I already apologize. This is in the past. We're just going to enjoy the present.
We will never let this
Daily Dozen Trivia, presented by Barstool Sports. NFL. After getting released by Carolina, Baker Mayfield played 5 games for this NFC team during the 2022 season. It was easy.
The Rams.
LA Rams.
NBA, in Game 7 of the 1993 Western Conference Finals, this Suns player totaled 44 points and 24 rebounds as the Suns defeated the Sonics. I have no idea.
I mean, it should just be Chuckster, I would think, but...
Is that where he was before the Rockets?
Yeah.
Correct.
I hope you're joking.
What?
Yeah, he went to the Rockets.
Didn't know he was a Sun before the Rockets?
No, I don't know the exact timeline.
He went. Okay. It was Sixers.
I just know he went to the Rockets right after the Rockets won the back-to-back
right,
titles.
Because he was Sixers, Suns, and then he got injured on the Suns, and then he tried to ring chase with the Rockets, and then Jordan came back, and the Rockets never did anything.
Soccer. This one's for Jack. Retiring in 2024, legendary midfielder Tony Cruz represented this country in international play.
I do know. Do you guys want to guess?
United States.
It's not the United States. Legendary in United States.
Eastern Europe or Western Europe?
Argentina.
It's
Europe. Funny you asked that, Peyton, because this country was once split between East and West.
Germany.
There you go.
That was too obvious. Come on, Jackson. Come on, Jackson.
Ed Tom Bell. Oh, man, I'm not good at
I know this. All
right, you take it.
I know this. It's Ed Tom Bell, Anton Chigurh, and Llewellyn Moss were characters in this 2005 Cormac McCarthy novel that was adapted into the Best Picture-winning film. It is No Country for Old Men.
Yep.
All right, celebrity mashup.
All right, you
What
guys
else?
cook on this. I've never
Is
used
that Mark
Phil
Wahlberg?
Yeah, that's a good guess, but we don't know the woman.
I don't know who the other
How you spell
face.
Wahlberg?
WH.
AHL, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
AHL. Yeah, I don't know. You just have to throw in.
Oh.
Why does it say Lil Wayne Wheezy F?
Who's
Isn't that
oh
amazing?
man.
I don't think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got Mark Wahlberg right.
I got
Yeah,
Mark.
Mark Wahlberg was right.
I put Courtney Cox for those not watching. What snack brand has a line called Poppables, which consists of smaller 3D-like crispy puffed potato bites?
Poppables.
Is this like Ruffles or something?
Maybe.
Is
I
that a
don't know.
snack
I've
brand?
never had Poppables.
Lay's Poppables? I don't know.
It's not.
No.
I don't know.
Television from 2006 to 2008. The trivia game show 1 vs. 100 ran on this major network.
Ooh,
Okay, so we have like 3 that we can guess from.
I
No
never
idea.
watched this show. I don't know this one.
Never
I'm gonna go
seen
with
it.
CBS.
Sure.
Oh.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, that could be. Well, what do we think? Would we have seen it on an NFL ad?
I was thinking CBS or Fox.
1 versus
I've
100. Go
never
CBS.
heard of the show.
Should I go
really have no
Fox? I feel like this is a Fox show.
I would. That would be my guess. I think I'd lean
No,
more. Okay.
incorrect.
Well,
Maybe we'll double dip. Movies. Meryl Streep played a bakery owner who starts a secret affair with her ex-husband, played by Alec Baldwin in this 2009 rom-com.
I don't know.
I don't know
I have no
either.
idea.
Too late for me. Rom-coms.
I don't know. Devil Wears Prada.
No, I'm not guessing that. That was actually a trivia. At
just
my
said it
Monday
'cause
trivia.
It's a
We
Meryl
still have to
Streep
answer
movie.
this in order to get the double dip. But music. But you don't want to be high like me, never really knowing why like me, are lyrics from this
Oh.
2015 Mike Posner song.
What is this song called?
It's
Boy,
the
I'm
one where he's
really
like sitting in the
The
airplane,
AJ
right?
Hawk of this segment. I
Yeah.
have just nothing.
I know this. You've heard this song before, Peyton.
Yeah, it's just I'm not
don't-
singing it correctly.
I don't know the title. Is it just called Sad Songs? Because in the chorus, it's all I know are sad songs. But
Another sad love song.
no.
Sad songs say so much. Which one?
I guess the second one.
Incorrect.
Fudge. I'm not gonna curse.
Movies. I know this movie. I remember like seeing
Oh, what is it?
like photos of it. I don't know.
Just guess something. I'm looking up the lyrics of the sad song.
I'm just gonna put Eat, Pray, Love because I was the one you guys didn't get that one time. All right, double dip. Television. CBS. Still incorrect. Okay.
All right, this was really bad. Wow.
Jane Lynch was the other person in the
Oh,
celebrity
she's the
mashup.
lady in Glee, right?
I think so. Lay's was the
Oh, it was Lay's.
Please, dang.
movies. It's complicated.
Nope.
I took a pill and a bee.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my
I was
god. That's
actually hoping
right.
we'd use our double dip on that because I looked it up and knew the answer. But it's okay. It's fine.
I forgot. That was
NBC.
the-
We really just danced around it for the major network. one.
See, I was kind of thinking
We would have guessed
NBC because
ABC next, and yeah.
I feel like those Fox and CBS shows from the 2000s, 2010s, we know because we watch football and you see the ads for them. I never remember seeing an ad for that one. I know NBC had Sunday Night Football, but it was less frequent. I don't know. All right. That was tough. All right. Tigers in the Wild. Kenny. Your
Tiger in the Wild goes to Tamar Bates. There's kind of a couple of moving parts to this one. Just a quote here from Mizzou basketball. He did a press conference, and there was some Mizzou media part of it. And he gave him a shout out, which was kind of cool, just probably for them and just everyone in the room. But simply put, my time at Missouri has prepared me for where I am at now. Based on what Coach Gates says, literally every day, that phrase is just giving your very best. That's how I've carried myself throughout my time at Missouri, and that's how I've carried myself throughout this process. A lot of teams have taken notice of that, and it's helped me a lot in this process, especially being able to do all of the things and play at all of the events that I have been able to throughout this pre-draft process. I'm more than prepared for the pre-draft process and for the NBA just because of where I played my last 2 years. I feel like that's a shot at Indiana. and that one Indiana reporter there at the end. But this two more things as well. Tamar Bates also said he had pre-draft workouts with the Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings, getting this from Andy Theobald of the Columbia Missourian. And he also posted an NBA draft.net screenshot where Tamar Bates moved up 17 spots to number 20 in their ranking.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in with that too, because he also, as you can see in the picture too, worked out with the Golden State Warriors. I think there was a fourth team in there as well, or at least was it Kings Jazz? Those two in the Warriors. Yeah, I was pretty surprised by this. My take that I told Peyton that I didn't think he would get drafted is looking really, really old. I'm curious to see if the NBA draft, if NBA draft.net, which they're a good service, if they're going to be wrong or just early on this. Tamar, I guess he has really won, and we talked about this before. He really won his combine. He measured really well. He had that really good second day where I think he had 17 odd points in the scrimmage. People were really wowed by that. But yeah, that's really encouraging to see some services already rank him that high. They had him at 36 before, which I hadn't even seen him there yet from other people. So NBA draft.net really likes him. I mean, he's a big guard who can obviously score on all three levels and defend a little bit. This is really intriguing. I'm excited to see if he really starts to become kind of a rapid riser. We obviously saw that with Kobe Brown. Like I don't remember quite where we thought Kobe Brown was going to be in the beginning of his draft process, but obviously he jumped all the way up and became that first round pick. So maybe we're going to see the same thing as tomorrow. I'm nerding out here because I love the NBA draft, but I'm excited to see where other services start to rank him if it's really true. I'll throw out this from NBA draft.net. Impressed with a 6'5" plus wingspan. Said his measurables. He has the same wingspan as Kaman Malawak, the big from Duke, who is going to go in like the top 10.
God, what?
So yeah, it's oh wait, no, sorry, not his wingspan, his hand length.
I was going to say there's no way.
My bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like his hand is he could like touch his knees without like bending over.
Yeah, my bad. That had that wrong. That would be quite something. Malawak is very lengthy. His numbers reflect big guard measurables combined with his fluidity and solid frame. Bates looks the part of a two-way NBA contributor, even if his current offensive role has been modest. He built momentum as the week progressed, turning in a very strong second day and delivering the dunk of the camp, rising up and flushing over a big in traffic. An emphatic exclamation point, impressive all-around combine showing. So. Some teams clearly agree with that. I'm just excited to see where this goes, and hopefully I can make a TikTok after I told Peyton he wouldn't get drafted when he goes in the first round. But I'm loving the buzz for tomorrow. I'll let any of you two talk about it, or Peyton can do his quick hit now. But this is very fun. I'm excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, me too. And I'd be really happy for Tamar Bates. You know, he's a father already. He came back to Mizzou. He stuck with Mizzou after they quite literally had one of the worst seasons ever, and it wasn't really his fault. He was good for that 0-19 team. He was one of two players that I'd say were good. And I wish they would have been able to get him a tournament win. He definitely is a player I think deserved to kind of see kind of the rewards of kind of what he put into the program. Definitely took a lot of pride in being a Missouri Tiger, I think. I'll really kind of always remember just that performance against Kansas when they finally got back in the win column in the border war. I mean, the post-game press conference, it was like something out of a dream. So good for Tamar. I really hope that he kind of keeps this momentum going into the draft because he deserves it.
I'll throw one thing in there too with that. Like, I think he talked about that as part of why teams are liking him, is the character stuff. And obviously, you know, him being a young father and sticking with a program, like you said, that was down in the dumps in an era where you can easily bolt even when your team is good. I think teams really like him, you know, from a character standpoint, which is obviously valuable, of course, as well. So yeah, exciting stuff for Tamar Bates. Peyton, what's your Tiger in the Wild?
My Tiger in the Wild is going to be every single Tiger athlete from this past year, or just this past spring, rather. Missouri athletes, student athletes, put a 3.402 grade point average together for spring. That was the highest spring semester GPA for student athletes in Mizzou history. That is that's really impressive. That's actually a grade point average that is good to put on a graphic rather than just like a 2.8 or whatever that some of these schools pump out there. Like, I don't even know why you bother to put a tweet together for that. I think this is really remarkable. And it actually is a mark that I think should be celebrated.
I'm going to say this part. I'm going to say I wasn't the one who came up with it. I'm not going to throw the person under the bus who came up with this either. But Mizzou Baseball posted one, and it was in a similar range. It was higher than 3. Someone said they had higher GPA than SEC wins.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
Luke Magnanti said that.
Brutal.
Sorry,
Winning in the
that.
classroom. Winning in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats to all the spring student athletes on that record. My Tiger in the Wild. I'm gonna give it to 2 guys. I'm gonna give it to Michael Chandler, of course, of Mizzou wrestling and now MMA fame, and Chase Daniel. I just thought this was kind of fun. They posted a photo together and kind of the matching white t-shirt hat fit, by the way. I hadn't found out. I know Michael Chandler like lost a fight a couple of months ago. I was kind of looking at his updates, but the only thing I wanted to share with him, his Twitter's really funny. He tweets a lot of motivational stuff, but then it's always his tweet and then enter, dash, enter, walk on, enter, dash, enter, see you at the top. And I think we should start doing a similar thing to our unwritten tweets. Everything we tweet, we just put some phrase like that just says like always grinding or something below like a dash. But I just thought his tweet formats were funny. But yeah, he was with Chase Daniel. So two former Tigers who have had success in their professional fields.
What do you think their favorite Booches moment is? Their favorite moment at a Booches.
I don't know. That's something that
Nothing to add, Kenny.
That's something that feels like you got to come up with an answer for it.
Nothing for me.
No, there was a question. Embrace debate.
Embrace debate. Kenny, what did you learn this week? Or not what did you learn this week? Headlines. I'm out of it.
Headline from Mizzou Athletics, MUTigers.com. 19 Tigers qualify for NCAA Track and Field West Regional Championships. I will apologize. I'm not going to read all 19 names. There are some European and foreign competitors in there that I do not want to butcher. But, a good group, kind of all around, too. We got 100-meter runners, 200, the 800, couple milers in there as well. And you got field competitors, too, moving on to this regional with the high jump, triple jump, shot put, discus, hammer throw. And like Jack mentioned, I think it was last show or one of the recent shows about the javelin squad, part of the track and field team, sending 5 competitors, 1 on the men's side and 4 on the women's side.
School of Javelin. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, congrats to all of them. Peyton, your headline.
My headline is I'm going to bring in the NBA now. This comes from Chris Herrig at ESPN. Sources: Knicks mole benching Hart for Robinson for Game 3. So the day we're recording this is Sunday, obviously. The Knicks will play the Pacers in Indiana for Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They are currently down 2-0. Yes, folks, the Knicks, the Bing Bong Knicks, Jalen Brunson, they're losing to Kenny and I's favorite team, the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Bing Bong Jackson, Tyrese Halliburton owns you. And now the Knicks are looking to shake things up because, the Pacers just have them rattled. It's pretty remarkable. That, in all seriousness, though, what a great series this has been so far, even though it is 2-0. That Halliburton shot to force overtime in Game 1. I know, Jack, you're not going to like this, but Halliburton is, must-see TV for me. I cannot take my eyes off the screen when he is in a clutch moment.
As anti-Pacers as I have to be, I'm not going to disagree with that. I know I realize what I'm watching. It is very fun. I had that game on and was way into it, even though I don't really have a dog in the fight. I guess I'm cheering against the Pacers, but Yeah, this is a AI generated image. Don't believe
Malcolm
everything you see
Brogdon.
online, folks. Don't believe anything. That doesn't look anything like me.
It kind of does.
No, that guy doesn't. I don't know who that is. He has a lot of acne too. He should get that checked out. Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll work out for the Knicks. I don't know. It's been
You
a fun
better hope
series.
so, Jack.
It's been a fun series. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised you guys haven't latched more onto Miles Turner. He's a Lego guy.
I love Miles Turner. I think Miles Turner is also like a great just thing to have in the NBA right now because, I mean, he's been on the Pacers. What? It's got to be like close to
Entire
Oh yeah,
career.
I think it's like
well
10 years.
over a decade at this point. He's been in trade rumors like 100 times. He's gone through a bunch of different kind of eras in Indiana, and he's just been there the whole time. I think that's a nice thing to have in the NBA.
Yeah, no, it is unfortunate. Like it is an aesthetically pleasing style of basketball, but nah, come on, Jalen Brunson, got to get this together. Maybe Mitchell Robinson can be the difference. It's bigger than basketball when he's at the free throw line. Did you guys see that tweet when ESPN tweeted that and people were cheering for it? That was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my headline. I'm going back to Mizzou related news. This is really fun. I'm posting this from Columbia, Missouri, and it is aggregated from the Associated Press. But the headline reads, Hot Diggity Dog, Slaw Dog MUJ School alum Mustard Matty win Weenie 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This was pretty funny. So they raced the Wienermobiles at the Indy 500. I guess this was the first year they got all 6 of them. So there's 6. I've done some research about the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile for this. There's, I guess, 6 that represent 6 different regions of the country. And there's a Mizzou J School alum who was representing the one from the Southeast, which won, Maddie Myers. She graduated from Mizzou. And her and Matthew Bailey piloted the winning Wienermobile. It's called Slaw Dog. And they won. So there you go. Shout out to Maddie and representing Mizzou in the winner's circle. Apparently it passed I didn't watch the race. Apparently it passed the one representing Chicago in like the last second and won. The analysis was by half a bun. So there you go. Congrats to Maddie and the Wienermobiles. I think it's pretty fun. I didn't know they had never done this with I didn't know there were 6 Wienermobiles. I didn't know they had done this hadn't done a race with all 6 of them before. But yeah, Maddie Myers, shout out to you for winning that, representing Mizzou.
Mustard Maddie Myers.
Yep.
Well, shout out Matthew Bailey too. He was one of the Slaw Dog co-pilots.
That's what. Yeah, it was both of them.
But I guess he's not a Mizzou alum.
No, she is. But I think
But
they did a video on Mizzou, like on Mizzou's campus together, like showing off the Wienermobile. I think I don't know. But there you go.
I'm trying to find out when she graduated because
it was recent. I think it was
Wait
like
a minute. Did they misspell it in the article?
it looks like it.
Oh no!
Yeah, they did. They forgot an E.
disaster.
No, J School. No, Missourian.
It's not the Missourians' fault. They just pulled it from AP.
They aggregated.
Oh, AP Associated Press. Good job, Missourian. I take all that back. I would never besmirch the good name of the sports section at the Missourian.
Columbia, Missourian.
Shame on you, Associated Press, for misspelling her name. Come on.
Yeah, justice for Mustard Maddie. She won. She deserves better. All right, Peyton, you got a joke?
I do. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, how can you tell the difference between a dog and tree?
The way they
Bark.
Yep, by their bark. Good job, guys. You guys have been on a roll lately. Well done.
Thank you.
like a hot dog. On a
I
roll.
think we're actually, I'm not going to lie to you, I think we're starting to run out of jokes. It takes more and more time for me to find one on the same article I've had pinned for like 2 years now.
Get in touch with Al Roker. Have him send us a joke.
Yeah, I need more jokes.
Is he on Cameo? Could we like pay for a cameo for him to tell us a joke?
Yeah, we just ask him, what did you do at the White House? All we can get him to talk about.
Don't look up Al Roker White House. All right, that'll do it for the unwritten rule. Well, I'm sure more recruiting stuff. We'll have another Mount Rushmore as well for next Friday's shows. Put any topics if you have any ideas that you want us to do down below. Thanks for watching. Go Knicks. Bing bong. We'll see you later.